Hey, Butchie, just wanted to get your thoughts on the East Division and how difficult it's going to be. Just looking at the teams, with just 4 playoff spots, it looks like there's going to be one, maybe two really good playoff caliber teams that are going to be on the outside as far as the postseason goes. Just how difficult the challenges are going to be in the East this year.
Yeah, I mean, we feel that way every year. You just never know how it's going to play out. And there's some merit in that, right? Last year, I think everyone expected, Florida to challenge for the division title, and they ended up on the outside looking in. So you just don't know. And then another team will kind of, there won't be much written about them, and all of a sudden they're in there. So, I mean, if just going by history, Pittsburgh has, Stanley Cup caliber talent in their lineup. Washington, another high-end team, Philadelphia, after the year they had, and Carter Hart, you assume, is only going to get better. The Islanders go to the Final Four. There's us. The Rangers have added good young players. Are they ready? Buffalo adds, some high-end talent. Jersey's probably the one that might be in flux a little bit. But again, those are the teams that sometimes fly under the radar. They lose Crawford, who they were counting on to give them a good 1-2 punch in nets. But maybe the other guy takes the ball and Blackwood runs with it. So you just never know. So we have to control our own play and make sure we do what we have to do. But I think it's a very strong division. Most coaches probably say that about whatever division they're in, but we've got, like I said, some pedigree in our division, I guess, is the best way to put it. Whether it plays up to their pedigrees remains to be seen.
Go next to Sophia.
Hi, Bruce. It's the first time I'm talking to you this season, so just wanted to wish you best of luck. But as we know, the challenges of the short camp and then not having, a real opponent to test your lines out against, I was wondering, as you were moving things around, specifically the first and fourth line, as the second and third kind of remained consistent, but did having those options and seeing what you saw on the ice and in scrimmages as you were changing things up, did that almost make it harder in the sense of what you saw the day before, or did it confirm what you saw the day before, and did that help with the decision? I hope that question makes sense as you move things around.
Listen, as a coach, I've been sort of the type of guy that will change lines no matter how it looks, because I have kind of a set thing in my mind. I'd like to see this guy with this guy, and et cetera, et cetera. Example today is Zaboral is on the penalty killing unit, and as opposed to the power play the last few days. And some days it's hard to do both. And we'll know that going in, and we switch things up for a reason. We also kept some lines together for a reason, because we didn't have a lot of time, as you said, to build some chemistry. So it was different for every line, I guess, so to speak. So that's how I approached it in camp. And again, to your point of not real, actual live enemy competition, we're not going to know until they get out there and play. So we like what we've seen out of the middle two lines. Those are the ones, I'll be honest, probably had the most question marks. We know Pasternak at some point, hopefully sooner rather than later, will be back and go in with Berge and Marsh, and we can adjust from there. And even the Corrali-Wagner combination was just who's the best fit on the left wing. Is it Bjork? Is it somebody else? Is it Frederick? Does Lindy go in the middle and Corrali to the left? There are some options there. Do we drop Richie down? How does he look with Coyle and Smith? So we want to sort of sort through the middle of our lineup first. And we were able to do that. But again, we'll have a much better idea tomorrow night. But so far what we've seen in competition, there was competition here. I mean, guys are competing against each other. It's just not quite the same. So we hope that, rolls into Thursday night, because both those middle two lines, I thought, had some good moments.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next to Connor Ryan.
Hey, Bruce. Looking at a guy like Nick Ritchie, what was the message to him entering camp in terms of what you're looking for him to bring this season? And how does his skill set kind of complement some of the strengths of that Coyle line?
Well, the first message was basically, we're trying to put, all of last year behind us, the bubble. Not sure Rich and Kasha truly got acclimated here. They come in at the deadline and then it gets shut down. So we want to, give both of those players a fair shake to get started right from basically training camp, even though everything's abbreviated, including the season. Let's start anew. Here's what we want. We want Charlie Coyle's a puck possession guy. Smith is a shooter. Can you go in there and get pucks off the wall into Coyle? Can you get to the front of the net for Smitty's rebounds? Get through the neutral zone with pace, because those guys can really go, yet get to the front of the net knowing that those guys are probably going to be the ones carrying the puck through the neutral zone. So And then be physical when the situation dictates it. Play with discipline, but play hard, and give us an element of toughness when it's required, when you need to do it for yourself or your teammates. So Nick has good puck skills. He's got good hands for a big man. It's why he was drafted high. He scored some points in this league, scored some goals. So we're going to try to build in some power play opportunities for him. And at the end of the day, it's up to him to earn his ice time. And that's the same with every player. And that's the message from us. That's a message from our leadership group to him, that it's not automatic here. This is a Stanley Cup. We feel a Stanley Cup caliber team. So you have to earn your way. And I think he's been very receptive to what we've told him, and let him play and give him his opportunity here to prove he can play in that line, and see where it goes from there, whether he goes up in the lineup, stays there, or drops out. I mean, that's kind of his production, and his play on the ice will dictate that. So we'll see where it goes, but we don't want to judge him on a few practices, and we'd like to give him a little bit of time here. And so far he's done well. He made as many plays, scored as many goals as anybody in scrimmage. So that's good for his confidence. And I thought his play away from the puck was fine. So that bodes well. We'll see about the physical part as we get going here.
Well, next to Steve Conroy.
Hey, Bruce, how you doing?
Good.
You went through some of your fourth line options just a little earlier, but what do you hope Anders can bring to that unit that might differ from what Nordy brought last year?
Well, they both have some pace, right? So they should be good forechecking guys. All three guys can skate well, get around the ice, cover ice. And I think if you're going to be an efficient checker and play against good players, you have to be able to get around the ice and or have a really good stick and hockey IQ and then have a mindset. So we're trying to build in the mindset. Hey, Anders, this is where you're best fit for now. We'll see where it goes. We know he had some, a great offensive season in, at Notre Dame, but after that in Providence and here, he's been kind of bounced around there. So he's never really had that opportunity to truly put up the numbers for a long period of time. Some of that was injury related, some of that was production related, some of it was competition in our lineup related. So, but at the end of the day, it's a bit of here's where you can carve out an identity, and let's see where it goes from there. There's a lot of players that started lower in the lineup, worked their way up, that had offensive attributes. I can go back to Patrice Bergeron, Brad Marchand, and go way back, from Doug Gilmour, if anybody knows his career, when he came into the league as a fourth line guy that was a scoring champ in the OHL and ends up being a high-end offensive player. So we're not putting a ceiling on him, but this is where we feel he fits, and we'll see where it goes from there. So that's the message to Anders. I think he's been receptive to it. His overall defensive game, Steve Brew last year, got better. So that's one of the reasons we feel he has been receptive to it. Penalty killer. He's got a good stick. He's got some foot speed. So not a lot of room in the power play this year. So that's a way to get some extra minutes. So, but again, it'll be up to the player to see where he, how he fits with the other two and how high he can go in the lineup.
Final question, Kevin Dupont.
Just one more.
What's that?
Go ahead, Steve.
Marshy good to go? Is Marshy good to go?
Yeah, we feel he is. He'll be a game time decision
Tomorrow?
obviously coming off his surgery, but he's been involved in, I think, 90% of the practices. He left a couple early to get some treatment. So I suspect there'll be a little bit of, adapting from the surgery for him as we go through here, but I fully expect him to play tomorrow and see where it goes from there.
Kevin
Thank you.
Dupont?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yep, we got your Dupes. Go ahead.
Reclaiming my time from the senior senator from the Herald. So, Butch, a specific question, Don, just the math, if I could first. You had 23 on the ice today. You'll have a 5 or 6 man taxi squad. Do we know who those guys are yet?
I don't know if Donnie's released that as of yet. So Dubes, I don't want to divulge stuff that if the players haven't been addressed, because we've got another groups or they're off today, some of the guys, and we'll skate tomorrow, but McKegg and Vakanainen are traveling with us. So my assumption is they will be on that taxi squad, Danny Vladar. And then from the group today, I'm not sure what he did, if he put some on taxi squad or a roster. Lindholm was put on waivers, so assuming he clears, he would be on, one or the other, would be my assumption. Tomorrow at noon, we'll have a better answer at that. So I don't know if that helps you, but that should get the numbers up close to 27, 28, and he may decide to leave some spots open. If, you know, for whatever reason, might be contract, who needs waivers, and or, you know, he may be looking at the waiver wire for the next few days. That's something only Donnie can answer. But I would say McKegg and Vakanine are traveling, Vladar, so that would essentially be three more bodies. And Steve Camphor had to go home for a family emergency, so we have to make a decision with him as well. That was in the mix. So that's where we are right now. I'm sorry I don't have a concrete answer for you, but that's the best I got with those bodies.
Okay, and finally, my general question is, I'm wondering if this was running through your head this morning as you're packing. I mean, there's been nothing normal here for 10 months. It is getting up to pack and have a practice and get on a plane for a road trip, you know, be it for you and be it for the guys. Is there a good sense of having at least a little bit of normalcy back in your life?
It is. And just a little tidbit, Kevin, I pack at night just to make sure I'm not scrambling around in the morning. So, yes, it will be nice to get in a charter and then travel to a different city on Saturday or Sunday whenever we head over to New York, play in a different rink. I still think that the empty arenas we'll get used to it quick because we just did it, but that'll still be a shock. You know what will be a shock is going into the TD Garden for our home opener with no fans, because we have not done that, and it's such a electric building. So that'll be a bit of an adjustment. But I think, yes, getting into your normal routine again will be good for everybody. Good for the players, as I said. Probably the wives too, probably ready for their husbands to get back to work. So, and this hopefully is the beginning of as you say, normalcy, and, you know, get the country back up and running, including pro sports.